Here's a quick demo on making sure your pressure is set correctly on the DK20. First of all, when you close the DK20 with auto release, make sure the timer actually counts down when you close the handle. So, when you open the press, the timer should show you the amount of time, and when you close it, the timer should count down. Also, when you're closing the press, as the timer is counting, this bottom magnet should become sticky. The bottom magnet should be activated. What that means is now you can completely collapse this top metal piece against the bottom magnet. So this top metal piece is supposed to completely flatten out against the bottom magnet. Here's your magnet right here. Here's the top metal bracket. Alright, so when you lock it down, these two should flatten out against each other. If they're not, that means you need to adjust your pressure. I'll show a close-up of that. Basically, make sure your time is set, and when you close the press, the timer counts down. And make sure these two pieces are flattened out together. We'll show that again. So there's your time set. Lock the press, the timer is counting, and these two pieces should be completely flattened out against each other, and then the press will auto release. I'll show that from a distance. So the top metal bracket must completely flatten out against the electromagnet. Now there's also a hover bar, that's this. You can let only that stick to the magnet. I'll show that close up. And then your press is hovering, where there's just a distance. I'll show that again. So if you want it to just cure or hover, press it so only the hover bracket's sticking, and then you're hovering. But normally for most transfers, you want the hover bar to completely collapse up into the top bracket, so that the top bracket is fully sticking and clamping against the bottom magnet. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, setting pressure. Here's where we'll back up. To set the pressure, if you turn this clockwise to the right, righty-tighty, and close this, you'll have no pressure, or very light pressure. The more you turn it to the right, tightening it, the more you're raising the heat platen, and there'll be no pressure. If there's no pressure set, the press will not pop up. So you see how this is very easy to close, and there's no clamping pressure. You'll notice there's also no popping. So what we need to do, since the pressure is very light, is we need to adjust this knob left, counterclockwise. So we turn the knob counterclockwise, lefty-loosey, and we clamp it again. Now that's still very light pressure. The heat platen is barely touching, and as we can tell, it's probably not going to pop up. So if it's not popping up and it was very easy to close, we still need to adjust for more pressure. Only turn it a few more times, lefty-loosey, counterclockwise to the left, and press it again. Now I'm starting to feel it clamp a little bit firmer now, but it's still pretty easy. I could still probably close it with just one hand, but it is starting to pop up, which means we're getting clamping pressure. Now we're actually locking it down. And that's the key to a heat press. You want to make sure it locks down with pressure against the rubber pad. But I'm going to turn this a few more turns to the left, and now what we'll find is it's going to need a nice firm pressure. It's still pretty easy. I could probably still close it with one hand, but it'll pop up now. So now we're going to just turn it another couple left turns, and we want a good firm two-handed ka-thunk. And that's good right there. That's a good two-handed clamping, and what you'll find is you have a nice aggressive pop-up. You can turn it a little more, and what I find is it's a little bit too difficult to press with one hand, but nice and firm for two hands. That's exactly what you want. You want a good two-handed ka-thunk, and to say to yourself, it's a little difficult for one hand, but a firm two-handed pressing. That's the most practical way of setting your pressure. So you set it so it's very light, barely touching, but locking down and not popping up, and then just start turning it a few turns at a time to the left. Lefty-loosey, counterclockwise, and it'll get firmer and firmer. as you go along. And that's the key to setting pressure.